Hello. So first of all, sorry that this is a day late this week. Because of like school stuff and some other circumstances, the video just wasn't happening yesterday. It just wasn't happening. So you get it today instead. So this week, Mariko and I have decided to talk about, really touch on, because it's such a big topic, but we've decided to talk about violence against women because tomorrow, December 6th, is Canada's National Day of Remembrance and Action on Violence Against Women in memorial of the shooting at École Polytechnique in Montreal in 1989, which I think Mariko's going to talk about more tomorrow, so I am not going to talk about that today, but if you're not Canadian and you're not familiar with it, there's like Wikipedia pages and things. So basically, I'm gonna leave that sort of topic to Mariko for tomorrow. Obviously, like, it's heinous, it's terrible. The one thing you can say about it is, at least I think as a society, we recognize the seriousness of it and how just horrific it is. And when it's very sort of like black and white like this shooting was specifically targeting women, and like the government claimed to was fighting feminism. So I think we can recognize sort of the horror of this, and see, okay, this person was killing people specifically because they're women. That's wrong. And obviously it's a good thing that we do recognize this as a society and we do make a big deal of it, because it is an incredibly important a thing that we need to try and prevent and memorialize. So what I want to talk about today is instead something that I find like pretty alarming and disturbing, is the fact that there's another kind of violence against women that we really, I think, marginalize a lot, which is domestic violence. And sort of as a caveat, I know domestic violence can affect both genders, and it does affect both genders. And there are lots of problems with marginalization of domestic violence against men, and that's an entire other topic that is really interesting and does have to do with the patriarchy, but that's not something I have time to go into today. So basically I want to focus on domestic violence against women, and also that is one thing about domestic violence, is although like incidents of domestic violence in general is like fairly even across the genders, women are much more likely to be murdered by their domestic partners than men are. And so I think that this is something that is really, really marginalized in society. Like, we don't talk about it as much. I don't think we consider it to be as serious and as widespread of an issue as it actually is. And like, we're also really likely to sort of dismiss it when it does happen. Like the classic example of Rihanna and Chris Brown, where he violently abused her and basically suffered no consequences. Pretty much none. Like, he's still widely celebrated. And Rihanna actually got a lot of criticism for it. For some reason, it was turned into being her fault. Like, there was a lot of apologism for Chris Brown. And so I guess the point that I want to make today is the fact that I think this sort of view that we seem to have on domestic violence really sort of shows this deep-seated belief that we have as a society, that even if it's not something that we outright express anymore, like it's not a legal thing anymore, and it's not even what we say in our marriage vows really anymore, but I think we still, as a society, sort of believe that a husband does have a right to and a control over his wife, or just any long-term romantic relationship like that, not even necessarily marriage. And so that's, of course, really dangerous and reflects the wider societal sort of opinion that men are better than women. But I think it's a particularly dangerous facet of it, because I don't think we entirely realize I think because of this, we really marginalize this type of violence because for some reason we think it's justified, which is really, really wrong and really, really dangerous. So that's sort of what I wanted to talk about today. Just sort of making that point that I think that that's something that we don't talk about or talk about or see talked about as much as we should, because it's a really big problem. Rico, I really look forward to seeing what you have to say tomorrow. Well, hearing what you have to say tomorrow. I'm not going to see what you say. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow and hearing what you have to say. And everybody, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.